I manifested my dream car, a Porsche. So here's the story time of how we did it. Let me preface by saying that this is actually the second car that I've manifested in a very similar way. So this works. There's something to this. At the core of this is honestly the same kind of keys that I apply to every single manifestation, and I've watched it work time after time after time for me, for my students, for my clients. So don't just think this video is just about manifesting a car. You can literally apply this to anything. And by the way, for a longer form of this, I have a full YouTube video on this, and it's being posted today to Arcanum Life. Okay, number one, and this is so important. I cannot stress it enough. You really need to become aware of your attention. So for me, I became aware of when my attention was on the lack of my desire, so not having it, being in this longing state for it, but really bringing a lot of attention and energy towards the void of not having it yet. And when I would notice that that was where my energy was, that was where my intention was behind my desire, I shifted it. So you want to shift away from this lack desire, this focus of the space between you now and having it. And you want to close that gap by shifting your attention onto the feel-good feelings that get you into the actual vibrational alignment with your desire. So to explain this in the car manifestation, when I would focus on not having the car yet and just longing for it, I would shift myself into a state of gratitude for what I currently did have and enjoying the car that I have now, which takes me into number two, which is playing pretend. Playing pretend really closes that gap, and I swear this is always like the thing that helps me get to my manifestations whenever I'm feeling blocked. So in this case with the Porsche, I would play pretend while driving my other car, my Tesla, and pretend I was literally driving a Porsche. I would think about how would I feel getting into my car if it was a Porsche? How would I feel getting out of it? How would I feel driving it? How would I take care of it? And I applied all of that to my current car and would pretend that I was living the experience now. Another example of this, I'm currently manifesting a move and I really want like a luxurious spa bathroom. So currently, while I shower in my current bathroom, I close my eyes and pretend that I'm in that luxurious spa shower. If you're working towards your dream body but you don't have it yet, when you're working out, close your eyes and imagine you working out as that version of you who has that dream body now. Are you getting it here? Playing pretend is huge, so I just want you to get that down. So step 1 and 2 went together in this case because I moved my attention from not having the car into having gratitude and appreciation for what I have now and just playing pretend that that was the thing that I wanted. This takes you out of that energy of longing and lack and puts you into the more expansive energy of appreciation and aligning to the frequency and the feelings that you would feel once you already had the thing now. Okay, step 3, certainty, patience, and peace. I go so much deeper into this in the YouTube/podcast episode, but what I want to say about this here is that when you are certain of the outcome of something, when you are certain that you will have your manifestation, that you have placed the order of it and it is already yours, the universe is delivering it to you now, you can wait for it to arrive and wait in patience and in peace. I always know I'm not in full alignment or full belief in my manifestation and not at the place that I need to be to manifest it, to call it in, to attract it, to receive it, when I'm feeling impatient with it, when I'm not in that energy of patience and peace and certainty. Also, branching off of this, having an optimistic mindset is everything. Seeing it all as working out for you. So this is kind of the nitty-gritty of how the car actually manifested. And like I said, this is literally how my last dream car, my Tesla, which I still have as well, manifested too. In both cases, a car got totaled. No one was hurt, don't worry. Most people would see something like that as a fucking problem, right? As an issue. In both cases, both times that a car has gotten totaled, I was upset at first, and then I immediately shift into, okay, universe, this is happening for me. I'm gonna let you handle it. I got enough on my plate. This is your thing to clean up. So I'll talk about the Porsche specifically because that's what this video is about. In this case, my boyfriend's car got totaled. Before anyone says anything, my boyfriend did not give me $1 for this Porsche. He just freed up the space in my garage and I put my car there, okay? I was already wanting to buy a new car before the holidays, but I decided to put it off because I'm moving soon, and so I just decided I'd come back to it later, and it was always a part of the plan that I would sell my Tesla and get a new car then. I never planned on having both of my dream cars yet, but funny enough, when I script and write in my journal and visualize, I see my two dream cars, which is a Porsche and a Tesla. So I've been manifesting it. But my logic brain just always thought, well, I will sell my Tesla and then get a new car. But when my boyfriend's car got totaled, that obviously emptied up a space in our garage. And listen, he was down bad about it. Like, he was not okay with it. And I will literally insert the text that I sent him when he told me the car was totaled, because I knew it meant something good. I knew the universe was working on our side. Not to mention, we needed to sell his car before we moved anyways. So I was like, okay, the universe just took something off our to-do list. But I asked him to please just apply everything I preach into practice and use everything he has learned about manifestation from living with me for 5 years and put positive energy towards this situation, because bringing a negative piss ass mood to this situation was not going to help us at all. Okay, I had no intention still at this point of getting a car. It didn't cross my mind. Like, this was his problem to deal with, but I was looking at that spot in our garage and thinking I could maybe put something there. Something would look good there. Anyways, I ended up talking to my CPA, so my financial advisor, and just kind of telling him the situation and saying, I don't know, I might think about getting a car. He asked what kind of car I would want. I said, well, my dream car is a Porsche, but I had detached from needing to get a Porsche now, so much so that I was like, but I'm cool with whatever. Like, I can get a Tesla. It doesn't really matter. Knowing that I would be getting my dream car soon enough, at this point, we just needed a second car to get around with. And my CPA goes, I have a connection at Porsche. I can get you a crazy deal. Okay. So he puts me in this group chat with a guy at a Porsche dealership, and he just goes off. He handles the entire exchange for me. When I say I did not have to do a single thing, literally asked about all the specs, knew all the details. This all happened on a Friday, and by Sunday, all I had to do was show up and pick up my car. And I got an insane deal on a Porsche. So yeah, tell me manifestation isn't real. Let me hear it. Tell me. And I know people are going to say, well, you had to have the money to manifest the Porsche. I manifest that too. You can listen to my private podcast, Manifestation Keys, the keys behind my first 70K month. I talk about how I manifested this money, how I had major breakthroughs with money manifestation this year. So yes, I had already manifested the success. I had already manifested the money to be able to afford a Porsche, but the way it unfolded is another pure example of manifestation. Like I said, I go into this so much more in my latest YouTube. So go look that up. It's under Arcanum Life. Or you can look up my podcast as well, which I'm changing the name of today, TBD, but you can probably search Arcanum and find it. I love you. I'll post some pictures of my car today so you guys can actually see it. And let me be proof, an example, an expander for what is possible for you. Because if I can do this, a girl who did not come from money, did not grow up around Porsches or fancy cars and things at all, if I can do this, you can too, and beyond. And I am dedicated to helping you do so. Love you.
It was between Christmas and New Year, and I was stuck an hour away with a broken car. I manifested a car. I go get my hair cut in another town that I used to live at, which is an hour away. You stay loyal to people who groom you. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. You know that period, Christmas and New Year, where pretty much all businesses are closed. Very few businesses are actually running properly. It was literally in that period. And we drove an hour away in a different city. The car had already been making noises. It wasn't really functioning properly at all. I was about to pull up in the car park and I promise you, in the space, it died. I didn't turn the car off. We got into the space and it just went like that and just died. It had died a few times and I got a new battery and I got people come out and electronic specialists come out to look at it and the wires and everything like that. It just died there and I was like, it'll turn on again. It's a good hour for the haircut. It'll turn on. Went to get the haircut, came back and it wouldn't even tick over. It was nothing. It was completely dead. What? It's a brand new battery as well. The lights were coming on, but nothing was happening. I called one of the big companies, minimum wait 2 hours. Okay, so I did like a local search and I was like, oh, I found someone. And then we went to one of the very few garages that were open and I had to phone a few people. I was like, do you know any garages that are open? I think he was like, oh, it's the alternator. It's like completely gone. You need a new alternator. I was like, oh, right, okay. Yeah, all right, I have to. Yeah. Can you change it? And he was like, no. What do you mean no? Nowhere's open. Like, I can't get one. Until when? He's like, until like 4 days. I was like, 4 days? I don't live here. And I'm with my son as well. Sorry, dude. It's literally between Christmas and New Year. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Okay. And I was constantly getting the feeling, download and understanding that everything's okay. Okay, so I was very aware that, all right, what's going on? The whole time I wasn't like, oh, for sake, and like, oh, I can't believe that this happened and everything. And I was very aware my son was there as well. So it was a teaching moment for him as well of how to deal with situations. When we were talking to AA and they were like 2 hours, I was like, okay, thanks. Let's see if we can find somewhere else. Instead of going like, I can't believe they're going to be 2 hours. Or, you know, so I spoke to the guy who took us there. Can you drive us all the way back home where it's like an hour away? And he like gave me the quote. And I was just like, damn, all right, fine. We ended up going home. On the way home, we had such a laugh. We had a great time. We sat in this recovery truck and he was sat in the passenger seat. Driver was in the driver's seat. I was sat in the middle where these makeshift clothes were like shoved there to make a seat. And we were just having a laugh. We were just having a great time. Talked to the driver, found out about him and his family and everything. Came back and I remember we went to the shop. We were just getting some eggs and stuff. The owner of the shop, who I know, he's like, oh, how's things going today? You okay? And I was like, see that recovery truck there? And he was like, looked outside. He's like, yeah. I was like, he just brought us back from Manchester because my car broke down and it's like, it's knackered. And he's like, why are you so happy? I don't know. We just had a good day. Like, you know, we just had a good time and he couldn't like work it out. He's like, amazing. I was like, I know, right? It's really cool. And then took it to the garage and the guy in the garage looked at me and went, stop spending money on this car. And I could tell that was the universe talking to me. Okay, all right, I understand. So then a few days later, I'll just look for another car. Forget it. I went to this garage and this garage. It was so cool. I was looking for an Audi and I eventually went to this other garage and it took me to this garage. I've got a Mercedes. As soon as I saw it, I was like, that's the one. I was like, that one there, I'm gonna get that one, like that one. I wasn't even looking for that car. I was like, that's it, I'm getting that, I'm getting that. 2 days later, it was mine. The whole reason I'm saying all of this is because not only was it really, really important in terms of how I'm reacting to the situation, but in order to get to a place where I could afford this other car as well, that had nothing to do with manifesting wealth. It was manifesting a new car. If you want to manifest a new car and that new car is more expensive, then by the manifesting that new car, you will gain more wealth. If you want to manifest underfloor heating, you will gain that wealth to be able to have underfloor heating. It doesn't necessarily mean someone's going to come and just put it down for free. It was a huge lesson for me and my son in terms of, first of all, things were falling apart. It was between Christmas and New Year and I was stuck an hour away with a broken car. It was all kind of like working together and it taught me a lot to listen to my voice. Don't pay attention to the storm outside.